Hey everyone, Anthony here and welcome back to Banners on the Wall for this audio special from Banners on the Road. That's our series where we go through all of the games that I attend, and this is part of our special mini-series. This is In the Box Thinking, my view from inside the commentary box at the Guildford Spectrum as I do my little bit of work for the Guildford Flames. So we go back to last Saturday, the 30th of November 2024, and the Elite League game between the Guildford Flames and the Coventry Blaze. Final score, Guildford 3, Coventry 4. Goals for the Flames scored on the power play, first of all by Jack Jacome, a goal for Lewis Hook, and then a 6-on-4 power play goal from Sam Jones. Goals for the Blaze, 2 from Alessio Luciani, 1 from Grayson Constable, and the game-winning goal scored on the power play by Brandon Alderson. So this is part 3 of our series. If you're looking at this on the website, bannersonthewall.wordpress.com, you'll find the highlights of the game as well embedded on there. So I'd said during the week that this game was going to be a bit of a fun one for me. This whole random jaunt into commentary has been pretty surreal enough, but I have links to Coventry. Some of my best friends in hockey and life in general are Coventry Blaze fans, and I said it was a privilege and a pressure to be able to commentate on a game for their team. This was helped by one of those people, Stuart Gold, feeding me an absolute metric ton of information and insight, so I felt suitably prepared. With no storm to blow anyone away this week, it was a much easier drive to the rink. Familiarity and the ability to build a bit more of a routine has been quite nice. It's also nice that the Costa in the cafe has oat milk. And yes, I know, first world problems. And I'm not lactose intolerant or anything, but seriously, oat milk just makes coffee sit easier on the stomach, and I really recommend you try it. But the routine. Coffee, head down. And with no model railway show and no netminder sprawled across the floor of the walkway this week, I chatted to the production crew and headed up the ladder into the commentary position. My routine when I get up there is usually like this. I'll get out my folder and all the written notes that I have, stats, team notes, and then I will load up the laptop and get up the game sheet from the Elite League website. That has the most up-to-date rosters on it, the scratches and so on. So I can mark off scratches, I can amend my notes to list the line combinations which are on the game sheet, and I can check the officials. So all I need to do every so often is just kind of look down quickly at my notes while I'm talking, and then I can use the breaks to keep an eye on things. I'll then sit down, and what I will generally do is plan my intro. So if you've ever watched a Guildford Flames broadcast with me commentating on it, certainly this season, I will generally have a bit of a prepared bit that I say at the beginning before face-off. I won't write it till I'm at the rink, just because there's always those last little bits of information. Apart from the tagline I've started using at the top of the broadcast, I'll write out a plan of what I say before face-off. This night as well, I was really interested to watch warm-up so I could get a really good view of Brindley Caps, who was down to centre the fourth line for the Blaze. Inside 30 seconds of this game, the puck is flying everywhere. It's been backhanded over the crossbar. I'd been told that the Blaze thrive on the chaos, and they started causing it almost immediately. It was a massive amount of pressure from Coventry very, very early on, and put the Flames on the back foot until Grayson Constable managed to high stick somebody and give Guildford a power play. This was potentially where Coventry are not at their best, mostly because they are a younger team and some of those nuances haven't quite settled. Massive open gap inside the box, huge empty pass, Josh Waller, Jack Jacome, in the back of the net it goes. 350 in, good thing for Guildford, they're settled. And that lasted all of 9 seconds. Literally, go watch the highlights. Pause what I'm saying here, go check the highlights. The clip isn't edited, there's no cut in it. They go from the goal to the replay to the face-off to Alessio Luciani's goal. And what it was maybe it was just a bit of tired minds, maybe it was an overcompensation from the Flames, but Nick Seitz takes the zone, shoots, McAdam kicks it into the corner, Seitz gets it back, puts it in front, and Alessio Luciani, Coventry's top scorer, gets a stick on it. I also think potentially Travis Brown got a bit of a stick on it, more of that to come later. But ultimately, it's in the back of the net and the leaders lasted all of 9 seconds. The Coventry fans, who were situated down to my left, were very happy. I stared at my notes to make sure I pronounced Luciani right, and we kind of went on. And from there, Coventry were on top for large chunks of that first period. Guildford weren't playing bad, but you could see where the tiredness of the short bench was starting to set in a little bit. If nothing else, because this Coventry side feel like a perpetual motion machine, and we'll talk about that a little bit more in depth later. If you look at the game events for this, though, there's nothing on the game sheet past the 12:55 mark. Tedesco is called for hooking. There are a few penalties for the Flames there in that period, but ultimately it was relatively even but Coventry had definitely edged the first period. They were ahead on the shot count, they'd made more of the running, it was their game to start with. Second period starts, and you do wonder, having seen what happened in the first, the immediate thing I'm generally thinking of here is, are we going to see a repeat, or will things alter? Will it be, will one team come out faster than the other? And actually the answer is no. Coventry came sprinting out of the gate exactly like they had done before, albeit their second goal was down to a massive bit of good fortune. Luciani is very clearly a guy that Coventry want to set up a lot. Very clearly got a good eye for goal. But this one, I mean, you see from the replay, Luciani shoots, and Travis Brown has done what every defenceman in the world would do. He's got himself into position to block the shot, whether by stick, whether by body, or whatever. And he's also trying to not screen his netminder, who is over his right shoulder. Stick is on the ice, body is positioned, and the shot comes. And it hits the stick of Travis Brown and starts looping into the air. Now, Eamon McAdam, who hasn't got the same high quality numbers as last year, I still think he didn't play badly in this game, but he's clearly not been having quite as good a year as Jake Kupski so far. McAdam drops down, and anticipating the puck coming lower, McAdam ends up unfortunately being chipped and lobbed inside his own crease. The puck cannons off of Brown's stick, loops over the back of McAdam and into the net. 2-1. And ultimately, you couldn't really argue it. Coventry probably did deserve to be ahead in this one. The teams then kind of settled back more into a bit of a rhythm. It became very, very end-to-end. Ultimately, again, that word was lurking in the back of my mind, the chaos. Guildford are a very structured team. They like to play hockey their way. And this idea of it game rubber banding from end to end definitely wouldn't suit them, especially where there were guys down, albeit they had a few members of their roster back. Sean Norris back, Ryan Tate back, Sam Jones in. 10 plus 5 is much better than 9 plus 4 they'd had the week before, although they looked like they were struggling a bit more to do something with it. As the game kept going back and forth, set, reset, and the puck comes round to Marcus Teesink, and he skates up ice to take the red line and put the puck in, and he tries to make a pass rather than immediately go for the dump in. And the pass is absolutely fine. It leaves his stick perfectly. And then cannons off of the skate. I think it's Nick Seitz. Seitz is turning to look towards the puck going towards the zone or towards the man he's trying to pass to. But the angle just takes it straight back into the middle of the ice towards the Flame zone, and there's only one person who's going to get there first. Grayson Constable picks the puck up, sees the gap he wants, and shoots and beats McAdam under the arm. 3-1. And it's just sucking the air out of the building. It's a lovely goal, mind you. It's a superb finish by Constable. And I've seen Guildford give up a couple of goals like this when I've been commentating. I think back actually to the first game I ever commentated on for Guildford. Andreas Hyde did something very, very similar for Manchester against the Flames, albeit that was a bit more of a structured play rather than a fortunate bounce off of a skate. And now, it's as if Coventry weren't already winning the battles, and whilst I don't believe in luck, they were getting the puck luck. And then, as I say quite a lot, a lifeline. Teesink again, it's a regular build-up play for the Flames. Teesink will skate the puck up the left wing, we'll get the red line and we'll dump it in. Matt Robson comes out of his net to play the puck, and it bobbles on him. And then it's in his skates, and he doesn't know where it is, and suddenly the Glazed netminder is spinning like a top, not able to find out where the puck has gone, and the only problem for him is Brett Ferguson has seen where the puck has gone. Ferguson plays it back in front to the onrushing Lewis Hook, and despite there being 3 Blaze people around him and Robson desperately trying to get back, Lewis Hook is not missing that open net. 3-2 with 1:29 left of the second period. The third period then kicks on, and somehow Coventry is still going. I know they're a young side, but even then you do anticipate when games are tight and you've given up a bit of a tough goal, one that the goalkeeper will be kicking himself for mentally, maybe not in the moment, but certainly later on the replay. And you wonder whether a young side like that will start to sink back and just try and hold on. Coventry apparently do not know how to do that very well, so they decided rather than sitting back, they were just going to keep going forward and smash their way through. But the third period was a bit easier. You could still see that Guildford were tired though. And for Coventry, maybe this was game management on their part. It's a little hard to tell. I don't watch the Blaze that often, but you could see where they were waiting and hoping for their chance. They didn't need to score, but they kind of wanted to at the same time. Josh Waller got called for holding the stick, and whilst he protested, it allowed the Blaze power play to set up, and they had been trying the same move all night. Brandon Alderson is the Coventry Blazers version of Alexander Ovechkin. They are going to plonk him on their left hash mark and set him up for a blast. It is not sophisticated power play hockey by any stretch of the imagination, but finally, it was effective. Regish to Stridsberg at the point to finally teed up Alderson for the shot that he liked, and he beats McAdam top corner. It's a really, really good goal. You feel for McAdam on this one because it's not one he really could have stopped, and I don't think many netminders of the Elite League would have stopped it. Nick Sykes is kind of parked in front trying to be the screen, and he doesn't need to be because the shot is so good. He's just taking away defensemen from being able to do anything about the shot coming in. It's a really, really good goal, and does end up being the game winner, obviously, and it was worthy of it. It was a very neat bit of power play work from there. The Flames then, of course, are forced into this bit of needing to have a bit of desperation in their game. That goal goes in from Alderson at 48:35, so 11 and a bit minutes worth of time. So not time to panic, but as time starts going on, the Flames started to feel a bit snake-bitten. They were trying. It's not like they'd kind of given up the ghost, a bit like it felt like the Clan had done at times the week before, but it just didn't seem to be working for them. Like I said, puck luck. Every 50-50 battle seemed to fall the way of the Blaze. The Blaze were that little bit sharper, that little bit faster, and were getting to the pucks quicker. The Flames call their time out with about 2 minutes to go, and McAdam stays out of the net. And you know it's a risk, and they do it anyway, because that's hockey. That's what you do. You need to take those chances, and 2 goals down, it's not impossible. There was a coming together that saw what can only be described as a veteran move from Brett Ferguson on the boards, where his arm goes around to the back of Mike Kennedy and slowly levers Kennedy's helmet off of his head. Kennedy, in his frustration, rather than doing what he should do, which is skate straight to the bench, cross-checks Ferguson. It's an illegal equipment penalty. By the letter of the law, it is illegal equipment. Once your helmet comes off, you must go straight to the bench. But Ferguson got away with one here, and it granted the Flames a late power play to go 6-on-4. And what it ended up being was what you want kind of a 6-on-4 power play to be. Now, again, just like the power play in the first period for the Flames' first goal, the Blaze penalty kill was kind of guilty of all 4 guys being in a position but not being really aware of where the other guys were, because Sam Jones comes off of the blue line, Tedesco drops back high, and Jones has just got all the space in the world when that puck eventually comes from behind the net from Brett Ferguson to fire 5-hole on Robson. It's a really, really nice goal, and actually, yes, Guildford lose the game, but there's little bits in there. And at the death, again, tired, short-benched, new guy on the roster who doesn't quite know all the systems, Guildford get a goal. And they can take some heart from that. But 23 seconds wasn't enough time. And Coventry, at that point, you can play desperate hockey and just throw bodies at everything and make sure nothing goes the way of the opposition. 4-3, game done. And probably the right result, if I'm honest. I know people will say Guildford were unlucky in this one. I'm not sure this was a 50-50 game. I think some saw it as. For me, Coventry were the better side. Statistically, the numbers kind of say that as well from the stats on the Elite League side. But one thing I can say about Coventry is that I talk a lot on this website about sides being fun. Slough are fun to watch. Solent, actually, in their own ways, are quite fun to watch. There's a fun to the game that Swindon play, Solway play. Coventry is pure chaotic fun. There's very clearly systems. It's not like they're just running around like headless chickens like I've seen some Romford sides do in the past, but they know what they're doing. And I heard Kevin Moore speak on the post-game after Coventry's win on Sunday against Manchester in the Challenge Cup about positionless hockey. It almost feels like Kevin Moore kind of wants to take total football that the Dutch used to play in the 80s and bring it into hockey. And you know what? It's enjoyable. It's not super sophisticated, and I don't think it can be with such a young team that's got so many first-year professionals in it. but it is quite enjoyable to watch. That's not to say Guildford aren't enjoyable themselves as well. It is Paul Dixon hockey. It is stylistically going to be one way, and you know what that is. And that is what it is, but it has its faults. Just as the Blazes style of hockey has its faults as well, because the issue of running around and disrupting the structure means that your structure can easily be penetrated and beaten too. And that obviously comes with its foibles. And yeah, they probably need to work on their PK after this game as well. But you had a Guildford team that was running on not empty, but tired. And you could see that tiredness creep in at periods. And also, just a commentary side that clearly just believes. When I was chatting to Stu Coles during the week and a couple of other people, I said what Coventry were doing at the moment was low budget, high vibes hockey. And boy, are the vibes high at the moment. And Guildford just need a bit of a regroup. They lose this game. They lose in Cardiff, and Cardiff deserve to win that game as well. And maybe this is just the wake-up call the Flames need. And Sheffield fans are talking a lot about injuries and the impact there. Well, here's the impact of the injuries for the Flames. Sure, they've not had a Champions Hockey League scheduled to deal with, but I think they're just tired. And I think they just need they needed a weekend to just kind of remind them about what it is they need to do when they are tired. And maybe there's an adjustment to the game that needs to be done. Guildford ultimately will get another chance this coming weekend against Nottingham, and there's going to be a chance there for them to do that. But again, against another Nottingham side that's now riding high. The first win over the Steelers, I think it's in 22 games. So Guildford need to just be mentally prepared for the exertion they're going to need to make against that Nottingham side. I think they can do it. This Guildford side's clearly not bad, but there is that worry again. When they needed to find a goal quickly, they have struggled a little bit at the moment. And maybe with Kugler being out and Wilichka being out and other guys being hurt, the Flames have a lot of strength up the middle and have a lot of strength at passing, but they kind of need someone to put the puck in the back of the net with a bit of frequency. And I think they were hoping that was Ethan Strang, who was kept quiet in this game. But Paul Dixon will tinker with the nuts and bolts, and Kevin Moore will tinker with the nuts and bolts. And on these two games go, Coventry are aiming towards that Challenge Cup semi-final automatic berth, and Guildford are just looking to press on. Roll on the weekend and what comes next. Bannersonthewall.wordpress.com. Wednesday nights, 8 PM on YouTube, of course, the BOTW What's Current stream. We take an in-depth dive of everything that happens across the National Ice Hockey League. Of course, we'll be keeping tabs on the Cup semi-final between the Romford Raiders and the MK Lightning. GuildfordFlames.tv this coming Saturday between the Flames and the Panthers, where you can join me in commentary for that. Enjoy the rest of your day wherever you find us. Anthony Russell saying stay safe. So long till next time.